Hello and welcome to episode 262 of our SAP on Azure video podcast. Today is October 9th, and together with Goran, we are here to talk about anything related to SAP and Microsoft. Hello, everyone. In the past, security was never really a prominent topic for SAP customers. When asked about their top 5 priorities in the next year, other topics were always on the top. To my surprise, this changed quite a bit, not only in the latest DSAG survey, so the German SAP speaking user group survey. Security came out as one of the most important topics. So with today's sessions, we want to kick off several sessions focused completely on security with SAP and Microsoft. This goes obviously way beyond just using Entra ID for Signle Sign-On, and because of that, my colleague Martin Pankraz has, or no, not because of that, but my colleague Martin Pankraz has focused on this for years. So I'm really glad to have Martin back with us to kick off the security-related sessions. Welcome, Martin. So Martin, as mentioned, you have been here on the show multiple times. You shared a lot of information on Signle Sign-On. You had also some security-related sessions. But for those of our listeners and viewers who don't know you, maybe start with a quick introduction before we then really dive deep into security.
Yeah, my pleasure, Holger. Well, we are a larger PM team, of course, but me, Martin Pankraz, I'm the product manager who focuses on security as a whole, when we do integrations with the SAP workload. But that's not everything. We also do co-engineering with SAP directly. And people who browse the history of this channel will also find sessions where we present it together with SAP. And when we talk security, for instance, SAP's ETD product or Logserv, which are prominent ones that can be mentioned. And we'll see where we can take that going forward.
But not only that, Martin, I think, for example, in addition to the videos and content, you have also, you have published a lot of blog posts, a lot of really amazing, great blog posts that really detail everything step by step. But what I also really loved were the hands-on sessions that you started and that you created. We had this hacker in a day, which I think was super successful, where we had, I don't know how many participants. We repeated this multiple times in different locations. We had hackathons at the DSAG Tech Exchange. So I think
it's true.
It's not only the videos that you are here in the podcast, but really a lot of other amazing material that you have published on security.
Yeah, thank you for mentioning that, Holger. And the hacker in the day actually reached 250 customers and partners at the time. So it was sold out quickly. We came up with a number that we can't exceed. With the moderators we needed and the coaches. To coach the fellow hackers and defenders. That's true.
That was an amazing event.
A group.
Yeah. And as you said, we not only had then folks attending on site, but also virtually, and I think it was really successful to also really show how powerful or how important security is also, and how easy to some extent you can also bypass and trick security and that get into a system potentially.
That's called the education in that space, to understand a bit how the hackers think and what's possible today, so that you can incorporate that knowledge into your defenses.
Yeah. Good, but in order to educate and to show what is possible, that's what we want to kick off today. So just with a quick introduction, with a quick overview of what it is, SAP with Microsoft Security. And then we definitely want to have some follow-ups to deep dive in certain topics where you've been working very much with our security product groups, with other experts, with partners as well. And we want to show, what is available and how customers can actually protect their SAP systems using Microsoft technology and a combination potentially of SAP and Microsoft technologies.
Yeah, for sure. And coming Microsoft Ignite, Microsoft will change many things or bring new capabilities to the market on our security suite. So we will give that some room once we can actually publicly talk about it. So, but what we show or we talk about today is what's generally available to everyone. So what's state of the art today. So, and you
Perfect.
said
So
that there were DSAG already being part of the, asking the members, where do you invest next? And for 2025, actually, the number increased a lot. And this was also, you could feel this at the conferences where we've been this year. There was a like change in momentum, and also probably this is also because of the state of the world, and more sovereignty popping up here and there. Just how people perceive the world and how businesses compete with each other and interact with each other across. But it's like a good trigger, to put more emphasis on this, and one of the reasons why we do this playlist now.
yeah, because I think the problem with security is that, I mean, it's always super important, but the spotlight very easily changes, so that you forget about security. Oh, nothing is happening anyways, anything. So why should I spend on security? But it's yeah, if you don't, then that's the issue when things happen.
Of course, yeah. And I wanted to quickly show some excerpts from our defense report. This is something that Microsoft publishes regularly, where we talk about our tracked attack vectors, how actually the threat landscape looks like based on our telemetry and our true positives that we work through, and how we see the world, so to say. And this number is like always like mind-boggling to me. 78 trillion security signals per day.
Per day, this is, oh wow.
Yeah. And like the amount of colleagues we're like dedicating to this task. Compare this to the overall Microsoft employee size, which is roughly 200,000, I think. So this is like a really big number. And our
Yeah.
partner ecosystem, who's acting on this.
And I think this, I mean, there's always this saying, well, we were saying that security in the cloud with services there is better than what you potentially have in your own environment if you do your own protection and stuff like that. And I think if you see these numbers here, I mean, especially with smaller companies, who has like 35,000, 34,000 users looking after security. So yeah, I think it's definitely worth to look into how security tools can help you to make your, in this case, SAP system more secure.
Of course, Microsoft is a like high value target. Not
Yeah,
every single company on the planet has the same exposure level. But everything we learn from defending against this like prowess in attacking, can be applied to everyone. And for the next one, I think it's page 40. Yes. The next one I want to show is this number here, down here, 7,000 password attacks blocked per second, over the course of the reporting time, in that year, which is very strange to me because I thought after all the security training, there's no more systems left where there's only passwords, but especially in the SAP space, there's still a lot. And when we go a bit further down here, so this is a breakdown on the identity attack surface and landscape. And here you see this, the big orange bubble here says that still on identity attacks are the most prominent ones, and 99% of the identity attacks are still password attacks, because they are still out there.
that's unbelievable. And coming back to the hackathon that you ran, where you basically just showed, first of all, how important MFA is. And I mean, so many systems support MFA, where it's very easy to just enable this one, and then there's such a huge improvement than if you just have username and password, and then these password attacks can happen very easily. If you just do MFA, then I think this already reduces the attack vector by by a huge number.
Yeah, that's the simplest thing everyone can do to immediately improve. That's why
Also
we
in your
chose.
SAP system, right? I mean,
Exactly.
obviously here I mean, MFA is always good, but in the context, even in the context of SAP, having MFA to access your SAP system would be very, very good.
Exactly, yeah. And we took this as the scenario to center the approach in the hackathon, of course. And we took it to the next level because there's various types of MFA. Yeah? And some are classified as fish resistant, and some are not. Yeah? And this is what's then like the eye-opening moment for all the participants, the fellow hackers, when they actually see MFA being used and then being bypassed. Yeah? It's like, my God, how is this happening? Yeah, is my bank secure?
Yeah,
Can
I mean,
get
I didn't want to go there. For me, the most important thing is that people start using MFA, and that's already a good start.
Yes, take it step by step. All right, so this was one motivating factor why it's good to think about all of these spaces also for the SAP part. Because we're often hearing the arguments, well, it's on premises, it's behind our firewalls, not internet facing.
Yeah.
We don't have this problem. But the attackers don't care, and fighting attackers who think in graphs with checklists is like doomed to fail. So, and we will be looking at what domains we have and how we cover them from Microsoft engineering to fix, so to say.
Mm-hmm.
So this is one of the drawings I want to bring up, which is focused on the different pillars. We started now the conversation based on the defense report on MFA, etc., where there's also conditional access. This is all focused on identity and access management, and we have multiple sessions on this, and we will have some more with the next wave of features coming out for Entra ID governance with Martin Repple, who's our champion in that space. And in there, we usually cover the life cycle of the users, etc. And we actually have this purpose built for SAP, either for co-engineering, where both products are actually having something that is dedicated for each other, or are like built for the interfaces that SAP has for this, and then our side, because we have vice versa integration. So that's like the core pillar, and sometimes the easiest to accomplish as a first step. Then, of course, data protection comes in some sort of flavor all the time. When you have data in the cloud, when you're wondering who's taking care of this, is this protected or not? Can I bring my own keys to do the encryption? Do I need to trust the provider, Microsoft, or can I have my own? Of course, you can bring your own. With the increased complexity comes with this. Today, I've heard from one customer who lost their keys and then asking Microsoft, can you restore our systems? No, we can't. It's your keys.
Oh no. Okay. Yeah. And they lost their keys and they're gone.
Yes, you need to then restore from the last where you had something. Because if you fully lose this, then the whole system is encrypted, and that's like a ransomware attack that you caused on yourself.
Your own, exactly. Yeah.
Yes. We need to get a quantum computer maybe to be able to break this at some point.
But it's, I mean, this is also good showcase that we really cannot help you there. So these are your keys. If you lose the keys, then we also cannot help you.
What we're supposed to do. Then securing backups with immutable vaults, also very simple to do. Just make sure it can never be after the fact compromised. Of course, then you're in the business of noticing early enough at what point did I have problems. So the hacker cannot compromise your backup later, as it's been written already, but how long has he been in there already before? So that's still a topic then. And we have Purview to cover topics like data loss prevention, when you want to notice if like documents that contain SAP data, if classified information regarding the business that you're having, how do you deal with this? Can you make sure that if someone leaves the company, or if there's malicious intent or fraud, how can you take care of this? This is all covered in Purview, and we have dedicated connectors there. And we'll definitely run a session on this in more detail, because we are bringing like a huge bunch of new features in that space. And with AI, everything that's in your domain there, Volker, on Copilot and Joule, it's impossible to do audit compliant without this view on your data and how it's processed. And then the simpler stuff in Azure Key Vault to store your certificates and secrets in a managed, secure, compliant way. actually I can no longer share any secrets with anyone in Microsoft, even if I just want to give a developer key. Yeah, it
I know.
fails on Teams. I cannot send by email. It's zip file. Everything gets detected. It's impossible to share. So you need to go to Azure Keyword, upload it there, and then share from there, which is good practice. But it took me some time
To adopt.
do it. Yes, exactly.
No, you're absolutely right. It started with very simple things like in Teams, when I try to send you a message, check out this username and password, and then no, it's blocked. I cannot send this information. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, so to teach and adopt this
You're right.
practice of
Yeah.
not sharing this.
It's annoying, but it's good.
Yes, security sometimes is. We have some more cynical colleagues who are saying if security does their job well, then no one can work anymore. Yeah? But that's that's a bit cynical, yeah? Because everyone has to have the right setup and yeah.
Yeah.
And then we have Azure Confidential Compute, which is the ability even on CPU processing level to encrypt the data that runs through the system. Yeah, it's some one of the more infrastructure heavy topics on it. Yeah? Then on the network side, which is I think the longest standing security topic, isolation of communication. And in there we have a co-engineered product called the SAP Private Link for Azure, that SAP released on Business Technology Platform, which enables you to privately communicate over the Microsoft Azure backbone from BTP to your target Azure service. And the normal, well-known, long-time, well-established networking capabilities, private link directly on Azure, and VPNs, of course, and Azure Express Route, which is our labeled way of giving you like high-speed broadband connections from the big networking providers towards the Azure backbone.
And I think for SAP, this is definitely, I think it's still the clear recommendation that you have an express route to connecting to your SAP system there, to have a really reliable connection with certain SLAs where we can guarantee throughput and latency. Whereas obviously when you go via the internet, even if you do a VPN connection, then well, this is completely out of our control. There's nothing. If I don't know, a soccer World Cup is happening and everyone is streaming, then yeah, latency is impacted. That's obviously not the case if you have an express route connecting there to Azure.
That's true. It's dedicated fiber just for you for this, and it's in our blueprints as the recommended way of doing it. And SAP GUI sometimes also runs better when you have such setups, because of the low latency requirements. And then we're entering the threat protection security management, because many of the things we looked at before are considered pre-breach capabilities. What do you do before you have a compromise at the company? And in here we have now the products and tooling that is able to detect hackers or compromise, or even also fraud, if you want to say. And in there we have a mix of things that we have SAP certified, or that is purpose-built or co-engineered with SAP. And at the top we have our SIEM product, Microsoft Sentinel, which has a first-party integration to ingest audit logs, additional information from SAP backend systems, with the goal in mind to supply the information needed to your security operations center to understand what's happening and to take action, for instance, blocking SAP users, reactivating audit logs, these types of things. And this then extended not only from the ERP, but also to the SaaS world of SAP, including Business Technology Platform. So full coverage on that. And with RISE, SAP came up with its own service to handle this shared responsibility model, because there's parts that they run for you, especially on the infrastructure side, where the promise is, well, this is our realm, this is our, that's where we work. But if you have the need to also get some insights from there, we're willing to share it with you based on the data we are allowed to share. And the logs of service gives you this capability, for instance, to get HANA database logs, which is one of the primary demands that were raised early on. And Microsoft Sentinel is the first SIEM product that actually has dedicated integration towards this service. So.
And I know you have been working for a very long time with SAP to make all of this happen. So a lot of things were, pushed, developed, contributed by you there as well in this specific topic.
Yeah, it took some time to figure out based on the customer needs and also the shifting landscape in the world and how to design this best. Yeah? But now we've come up with a version that we're happy with, SAP and Microsoft and the early customers that are on the service. Yeah, so we're looking to expand on that.
Yeah.
And we'll have like more sessions when we get to the next feature levels of this, because the security data lake, for instance, is one of the next things that will get some more spotlight on this. Because the customers that are heavy on long-term retention because of local regulations, some need to store their SAP logs for 10 years. So how do you do this cost efficiently? Yeah? And our central data lake underneath the center or our security suite is one way of achieving this. And LogServe actually powers this through their connector with us. So then when we move a bit further down into the stack again, Defender for Endpoint, MDE, has dedicated settings for running on SAP hosts, be it Azure VMs or like on-premise VMs. And actually the capabilities that we added made this the first EDR product, which is Endpoint Detection Response product, that notices that a HANA database runs on this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why it's called HANA Aware. And this makes a difference because this process behaves very different compared to many others. So traditional EDR products usually like run detections when HANA runs, interfering with the workload and not actually bringing this to a halt. And our teams are testing our Microsoft's own SAP infrastructure a lot on this. And we have integration test environments to make sure that every change that comes to Defender for Endpoint doesn't break SAP systems. So that the thousands of customers that we're protecting with this don't have any service interruptions because of the security product finding something that, which is actually not a problem. And then, last but not least, AI security. How do you make sure that everything that you supply to those agents and co-pilots is actually allowed in your company? And in there, we have multiple services that help you with this. And the Purview, for instance, checks when you upload data to any of the chatbots of these days, be it ChatGPT or Claude or any of these, if this data came from a classified document. Let's say you have a Word document, which is highly confidential, and you're trying to paste that information into ChatGPT. Purview is actually able to detect that and block it from happening. And furthermore, prompt shields are a way of finding malicious intent in certain ways you're sending prompts towards your AI agent. And Azure AI Content Safety also has stuff we like misuse, abuse, things that are not culturally accepted. These types of filters can be applied through them. And our dedicated capability in Entra called Entra Agent ID, which actually gives treats a agent the same way as we treat apps or people in Entra, because that's we need to acknowledge that we need to treat them differently compared to just being a service. They need to the ability to act on people's behalf when an agent actually makes a change with your user credentials. How do you ensure that this is acknowledged, audit, trainable, and in a compliant manner? So we actually need to up-level this.
Actually, I just yesterday had a good discussion with a customer also, where they were already talking about really an agent-to-agent integration, where really the agent all of a sudden becomes much more important. And obviously, you want to make sure that this agent has a unique, I would even say, persona. So and which obviously comes then with very much like I have an Entra ID. The agent should also have a dedicated ID, so that it can, like you said, work on my behalf, or do some other stuff. So I think this will be really, really interesting to see how this evolves and gets bigger and bigger, the whole Entra Agent ID topic.
Yeah, in the security and compliance world, you always want to know who's responsible, yeah? Who did this, yeah? And you want to be able to trace this back. This agent did this change on behalf of Holger, yeah? So that you have you can have proof and you can trace this back, how this happened. Yeah? And then the last one I want to mention, our Microsoft Security Copilot is able to reason also over the things we are collecting in Sentinel and in Defender. And in there we can have, we'll have dedicated sessions also to that one, yeah? Where we get guidance on remediation steps, help for the SOC analyst to reason faster over the detections, including SAP systems. Yeah, that's like one of the major tools we have now that speeds up the time to find a hacker, time to create a report for management, and there's like really cool numbers also on how many hours those SOC analysts can save using the assistance of the Copilot. And last but not least, underpinning all of this, partner solutions building on top of all those capabilities. Yeah, that's at the bottom here. Yeah, the nice colorful arrow going from left to right, and there's actually some really powerful partnerships there. SAP, of course, as our partner in crime, for the software integrations, and the vendor of the SAP product, of course. But there's also other very capable security partners that are specialized in certain areas. And we may also invite some of those going forward. And then at the bottom, go ahead.
No, I think this will also be really, really interesting. And some of you or some of the viewers might have seen some cool videos of you also with some partners already. So I think this would also be really great to talk about these integrations.
Yeah, because in the end, we're building a platform that comes with a meaningful baseline, but there's always areas where partners complement what we offer out of the box to really make it tailored to what some of the customers need. All right, so we saw pre-breach, post-breach across the pillars that they were shown here. So there's the protect, detect angle, but also analyzing, responding, and in the end, the disrupting attacks, be it malicious intent, fraud, across those areas.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to stop this from here. There's one more angle that I want to show for this. Here. And this is a view that speaks to how we started the session. Yeah? Where do you get started? Yeah? And how far are you on your journey? Yeah? And at the bottom, this is like an X and Y axis, right? At the bottom, you see the level of protection that you gain by moving in that area. And at the Y-axis, you have the certain categories those are Gartner terms. Those are not Microsoft terms, or acknowledged by the security industry. So we have identity. That's how we started on the MFA space. EDR, where you will look at more the devices and the servers, or endpoints and detection and response. Then the specialized category for SAP threat monitoring, and SIEM as a generic term in that space, which is the information and event management, product tooling, and XDR, which is extended detection and response, which is the latest on combining all of these things. And this is broken up in three parts, where you have SAP as our primary integration partner, where we have direct integration across products. And in the middle, the yellow one, where we have the Microsoft first-party track, where there's everything provided by us. And as we finished the slide before, on the third-party track, where we have partners complementing on top of each other.
Yep.
because we want to give customers choice. Like I said, we have a platform where we want to give a good baseline and the ability for customers to bring whatever they prefer. So now let's throw some product names here on the slides. At the bottom, they're usually suspects from SAP, the Cloud Identity Service, their SSO products, and also enterprise threat detection and LogServe that I mentioned before. They were purpose-built. And on our end, they were also mentioned before. But now you have also the angle how this is combined across, where everything we do and where we treat this data in graphs. That's what we will see in the next sessions also. You cannot win the fight with checklists. Did I close this port? Did I close this door? Because the attackers, they find ways around everything that you come up with. So you need to look at the bigger picture and correlate all the signals that you're having. And that's why we have this approach where we combine all the signals we're getting in one single place so we can correlate across all the sources.
This is actually really, really strong. So what you said, that we have native integrations with a lot of SAP services, enterprise threat detection, LogServe with our tooling, but also from a partner point of view, where we're working closely with some of the partners with very specialized additional knowledge, additional integrations there. And then you have the Microsoft track basically where you potentially can combine and really get then a complete overview of what is happening, what attacks are happening in your landscape.
Exactly, yeah. And this colorful box here now is actually the Defender portal, where everything then arrives, and underpinning the security data lake, where everything then comes together and can be stored in an efficient manner. But we will do deep dives on those in the next sessions.
And that's great. So I think we have a good overview of what's available, basically. Lots of bits and pieces. I mean, that as we could now see, make up a complete picture. And I think now, as you said, it would be great in following episodes. I mean, not on a weekly basis, but in following episodes, we will pick and choose some of these topics, dive a little deeper in them, and see more what this is all about.
Thank you. See you then.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Martin. Exactly. See you soon again. Thank you. Bye-bye.